collaborate with people in the medical field. We are part of our communities. We are part of the business community. We are part of the local community. So no matter where we are, being ingrained in that community, because that's who supported me through this whole thing. I have flowers you can't see here from a patient of mine. I have, people coming in to say, hey, what about this? Have you thought about this, from the yoga community? Collaboration with all people who promote wellness and success in the community is vital.
Like, that's a cool, it's a serious intro. It's a little cheesy and corny, but I liked it like that. It sets the tone.
Yeah.
Sam Foster, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having me, Jim.
I mentioned this before we hit record. The goal is, what if I could do, that's a bold statement. I said, what if I, in 4 to 5 years, do 1,000 of these PT business blueprint conversations? What if I could do 1,000? And that's 200 a year. But also, if they're 15 minutes, that's totally doable, right? And the goal of today's conversation, this whole series, is show other therapists who are working now, maybe they're in school, maybe they're thinking about becoming a PT, the 1,000 different ways that someone can provide physical therapy, or the 1,000 different things a PT could do to help people and build a business around that. Like, I also think that in our hearts is this Peace Corps gene that we're like, I want to help people. It's like, how will you do that? I will open a practice. Like, that's a business. That's a business. Like, let's say that word, and that's good, because if your business thrives, you can help more people. So you're doing business in a little bit different way. Let's get your backstory first. How have you been a PT previous to what you do now?
So I graduated PT school in 2014. Background before that, I was a school teacher, got hit by a car on my bike, led me down the path to PT, and loved it. Love outpatient PT, specialized in back pain, really successful in the local region, and decided to try for a business idea that my husband and I had. And
is he a PT as well, or this is just like a combo?
It's a combo. He's in construction.
Good. I like that, because what he might lose in not being a PT, he makes up for in not being a PT, in not having a blind spot.
Exactly.
All right. So what's the business that you went for?
So we opened Frostfire, Sauna, and Cold Plunge.
Got it. So clinicians out there going, okay, I hear Frostfire, cool. I like the logo behind you if you're watching my live stream. Looks very, very appealing. I hear Sauna and Cold Plunge. But from a PT perspective, not a patient perspective, what's the business look like?
It's all about recovery. So it's getting people in the door to do the sauna, cold plunge, but while they're here, I'm coaching them, I'm educating them, and that's the door into, okay, I've had this ache, I've had this pain, what could I do about it? And that's how I bring people to the
I call this, side. And I'm going to have her on, I've said it for a while, we just have a match schedule as a friend of mine, Megan Brown. I call this a Trojan horse. This is come in for the sauna, come in for the cold plunge, come in for what you think is recovery. Because if you're on these things, you're seeing the videos, this, that, and the other thing. And you're saying, come in for that under the eyes of a physical therapist. How'd you guys come up with this?
Right. We went to Asheville, North Carolina, had a wonderful experience with a sauna cold plunge, but it was after a 4-day jiu-jitsu camp. So I honestly didn't think I was going to be walking on a Monday, and I was bebopping around just fine. And I really attribute a lot of it to the sauna cold plunge, but also the community building. And that's what we wanted to bring, was the community building of doing something difficult, surrounded by people you had just met, and working through getting into an ice cold tub and working through 3 minutes there with people coaching you and cheering you on, just like you would a marathon. Right. People are cheering you on to be able to do it. And so it's community building and recovery.
Talk to me more about the community building. Like, what's that like? Like, is this a monthly recurring membership for people? Is this a one-stop shop where I'm going to come in, I'm going to pay $60 and I'm going to do the sauna cold plunge, whatever?
It's both. So we've had, we do one time $30 for an hour, $40 for 2 hours, and as much or as little sauna cold plunge. But the way we built it, we have a 6-person traditional sauna and 2 cold plunge tubs right next to each other. So you're actually always engaging with someone else. We do the memberships if you know you love it, but the whole space is open and meant for people to constantly be interacting.
So who are your avatars? I don't think you have one ideal customer, right? Like, there's just, it might fit under like someone who's athletic, right? Like, I don't think my grandmother is very active. She's 98, just by the way. Gammy's out in Oklahoma. I don't think she's your ideal person walking through the door, but are these like local, not just athletes, but like local sports teams? Is this like a triathlon team who like also says we're gonna throw down and we're gonna go as a group?
It's really all of the above, but more importantly, it's the person who doesn't have access to the cold plunge and sauna. So a lot of the teams have access to cold plunge, not the sauna, but I'm finding it's more the 30, 40, 50-year-old who's still very active, but the aches and pains are starting to set in, or the person who wants to explore something different like cold plunging or sauna, and they just don't have the tools or the understanding of how to do it safely, and they want to talk with someone. They want me there to.
So how do they do this? Let's say we'll put me and my triathlon buddies. There's 5 of us. There's 6 of us total. Do we book like, hey, we know we're going on a long ride on Saturday. Do we then on Sunday morning book an hour, and then we're going to come in and go, then use the place like it's our rehab facility, like our.
You can book it, or you do drop-in. So I've had a good amount of business with drop-in because, especially with being a parent myself, you never know when you're going to get that hour. And so the drop-in appointments have been popular. The booking's nice if you're doing group appointments, because it's really easy for people to say, oh, I'm going to bring 2 of my friends. And with our memberships, it's cheaper to bring a friend. But most importantly, we want to be available. We're open 7 days a week because fitness happens all the time. Injuries happen all the time. And so that availability is important. And there's always myself or my husband. We call ourselves our guides. The guides are there to guide you through how to do sauna
on site. But long term, you guys can't. You gotta phase yourself out of the business. You've got to teach other people to do that, right? I'm guessing. Yeah,
exactly. We're going to hire someone to become the guide, and I will matriculate into only PT.
When I walk in, what's it like? Let's say me and my 5 buddies have it for an hour, right? We're booked. Like, so we know there's space, right? Because 1 person might be easy to sneak in, but 6 of us probably not so much. What's it look like? Is this like white glove? Like, walk in, here's a towel, here's lemon water. Like, I feel like is it like like just what I'm looking at, the logo, the vibe behind you, and how you're describing it, it feels very much like higher end spa than it does like you just.
It is higher end spa. You're walking in immediately. And I can take you on a tour in a little bit, but wellness recovery beverages. We've got hot teas that are locally brewed. Retail for sauna and bath recovery aids. You come in, you've got the towel, the robes. It's a luxurious experience, but it's also an educational experience. So we wanted to push those 2 together. The last thing we want is it to feel clinical.
I think that's your smartest move. I think this is where, again, I think you're a sucker punch or a Trojan horse, which is the front of your organization looks very much like a spa, and spas don't sell bath bombs. They don't sell towels. They sell an experience. Like, I want to feel in this hour, and then hopefully the hour or 2 after that, this thing that I went through if I have this issue or this problem. So, okay, so walk in very much like white glove, like I'm getting an experience. What you mentioned, some add-ons. Are you going to add something like massage? Do you offer that now?
We don't offer it now. We have Normatech recovery.
So
we do the compression massage. It's $1 a minute, but probably not doing the massage therapy because I want to go into the manual therapy of the PT side. So it's really going to be, if you need those services, here, come talk to me. Here are the cash-based package.
That's cool. What else haven't I asked? What else is there that maybe you haven't gotten to show off yet?
The culture. Okay. We are downtown Lynchburg. We have a local mural by a local artist. We're ingrained in downtown Lynchburg. We received a grant through Launch Lynchburg that funded us to be in the downtown on Main Street, and we are part of the culture of our downtown that's beginning to thrive. So
smart. So talk about that grant, like even just briefly, like, hey, you paid attention. Remember that guy back in like the 80s and 90s who would be on TV in the suit coat, but it had question marks all over it? And he would like sell the book that was like, there's money out there if you know how to apply. This is like pre-internet, right? And it's,
oh, absolutely.
And essentially his whole pitch was like, there's money there. So like you were smart enough to go look, like know about it, apply for it, apply well, and win it.
Yeah, I'm constantly on the internet and websites and looking for ways, like APTA and VPTA, which is our local Virginia PTA. There's scholarships that are available. There's money available. So for the local Downtown Lynchburg Association, there was an application to do a Zoom interview, which quickly led to 8 weeks of business classes, which led to a Shark Tank style pitch. We won $20,000.
So you had to earn it. Got it.
We earned it, but we also, it was 25 very persistent people out of 70,000 people that live here. So it took some persistence and some learning, but we knew it was available because we looked for it.
What was the overview of your pitch?
Bringing recovery and wellness to Lynchburg, Virginia.
This is a trick question. We already know the answer. Do you think if you had pitched a PT clinic, it would have won?
Absolutely not.
But you did.
People don't want more clinical situations, but I did.
Right. But you did, but you didn't because you framed it differently, right? So someone would say, well, this isn't traditional PT. And I would say, you're right. But I would say you're going to get people who might not have walked into a clinic, a traditional clinic, and you're going to get eyes on them and you're going to be able to whisper in their ear, which supposedly is what we want to get paid for in the future, right? The stuff between our ears and not just what we do with our hands or what we offer people.
Exactly.
So wait.
And now we're doing...
No, keep going. Physical therapists, if you're not up on blood flow restriction training, you're missing out. BFR, it's the future of rehab. Owens Recovery Science has the certification for learning BFR from the ground up. You'll get hands-on with the best tech, expert insights, and tools to deliver real results for your patients. Stop waiting. Check out owensrecoveryscience.com. That is owensrecoveryscience.com and get certified in BFR today. Physical therapists, if you're ready to stop playing small and actually master your specialty, Brooks Institute of Higher Learning is where it's at. Imagine one-on-one mentoring, hands-on labs, top-tier facility, all while earning a full salary and benefits at Brooks Rehabilitation. We're talking 8 cutting-edge residencies, specialized fellowships, and a 93% board pass rate for graduates. Get trained by the best with the best. Check out brooksihl.org. That's brooksihl.org and start leveling up your career today.
We're doing spin-offs like Sauna and Stretch, where we can tailor it to their needs. It's led by a PT. So all of this really, truly is marketing, but it's marketing because I'm doing something I love that I believe in for the community. But eventually these people will come to trust me for the PT.
I think if you had done this, even if you had done everything the same way, but you did it in a clinical environment, I don't think it would work. Because that's not what I expect there. And Seth Godin's a famous business guy. You familiar with Seth Godin? He writes books about business that are really, like for me, that are really short and simple. So I can feel like I've read a lot of books.
Okay, yes.
Super smart guy. And he said, he sort of had a riff once where I like sushi and I like McNuggets, but I don't expect sushi at McDonald's. So when you walk into a PT clinic, you do sort of, for better or for worse, and I think it's changing, but it's not totally there. I don't expect the paint I see behind you. I don't expect a cool, like that logo. I don't expect to see, to your right, I think was like a relaxed, chill chair that you have like the Normatec boots on. We sort of hide that, and we white coat it, and we sort of hide behind some of those things. And I'm not saying don't break out a stethoscope or a blood pressure cuff. I'm saying give people an environment they would like to relax in, because isn't that step one in getting someone to open up and move?
Right. And I think that's the wave of the future. When we are enabling and empowering people to pay for their own health care through cash-based and take the initiative to take care of themselves, we have to give them an experience that is customer service oriented. And it cannot be something like they're fearful of pain or they're fearful of the presentation. It's got to be an enjoyable experience.
I also think the subtle thing that you're doing that I notice anyway is I feel like a lot of times when you walk into a clinic, it's very much something's going to happen to me, right? Something's going to happen to me. You are going to do something to me, and that thing will make me feel better. Where I think you're essentially saying you come in here and you're going to do stuff. We're going to do stuff. I'm going to walk you through stuff. Then you'll feel better. It changes it a little bit from passive to active.
Yes, and I think it's more approachable, and that's how we have to do the cold plunging. The person is choosing to put themselves in an uncomfortable situation, but at all times they're in control. You're choosing to get in, you're choosing when to get out, and honestly, by framing it that way, I'm seeing people really surpass what my recommendations are. They're going for the 3 minutes, they're going for the colder, they're getting more smiles and more benefit. Our Google reviews are off the chart 5-star, and people are wanting to leave the reviews because honestly, it works, but they're empowered. And I think that's why they're there to leave the review and to have that good
Where are you in the stage of this? How long have you been open?
October 14th, we opened the doors, so we're brand new.
Yeah, that's great.
Brand new.
What surprised you, even in the month that you've been open, or not even a month that you've been open? What surprised you that you didn't see coming? What was the surprise?
How much benefit people are getting from the Sauna Cold Plunge. The reactions. When they walk through the door, when they're done, the smiles are bigger. People are reporting they're sleeping better. It's neat to watch the research in action. You expect it to work, but honestly, I'm pinching myself because it's working so well. That's what's
Yeah.
Here's a question for you. Do you want to boost your clinic revenue by $290 per patient per quarter? Of course you do. That's rhetorical. Physiotech's remote therapeutic monitoring can help you do that, enhance patient outcomes, ease provider workload, and turbocharge your earnings. Kickstart with RTM at physiotech.ca. That's physiotech.ca. And the thing you interact with the most at your clinic, if you're a therapist, like it or not, is your EMR. MW Therapy's all-in-one outpatient PT EMR gives you seamless integration of patient portals, marketing automations, and billing, all at one unbelievable value. Switching over is a breeze too. Kick the tires, take a test drive at mwtherapy.com. And where is your PT career going? It's not rhetorical, it's literal. Embark on extraordinary patient care adventures with Jackson Therapy Partners. Visit them at jacksontherapy.com. This is perfect for physical therapists eager to make their mark, to do what you want to do, where you want to do it. Discover where your career can take you at jacksontherapy.com.
What is advice you would give to someone else who is either going to open something similar or just open in general, like just become a business owner? Anything you would want to whisper in your ear 6-8 months ago?
Number one is go for it, but you're a strong PT. We're smart, and use the tools we have in a creative way. If you want a creative outlet, you make it. Create the world you want to treat in because it's available to you.
So you're making me think that there's two ways to go about this. Well, there's a lot more than two ways, but like there's two quick ways, right? You could open a clinic and then try to make it like an experience like you're doing it. You're doing it the other way. You're opening the experience and sort of suckering them in to a clinical environment, like getting them in front of a PT. I think the other way is harder. I think if you start a traditional clinic, it's harder to change that than it is the direction that you're going.
Yeah, I want the people off the streets. I want the tourists. And so I wouldn't say it's easier. It's just different.
Yeah.
But to me, it feels more welcoming in the sense that it's just more approachable.
Yeah,
it doesn't mean the other way.
Yeah, I didn't mean it was so. Let me reframe. I think taking a traditional clinic and being creative is crazy hard because I think it's so much in a box where I think you're the way you are going, which is swimming upstream when everybody else is swimming downstream, allows for more latitude and creativity.
I would 100% agree with that, and people notice you more.
I think when you open a PT clinic, and there's this is not rigid, like you can do it differently, but people have expectations and they might never come inside. But when I see that logo and you're saying I'm offering recovery, that communicates something different in my mind.
Yeah, I agree with you. And our logo is relax and feel good. I mean, what PT clinic sells t-shirts that says relax and feel good? It's great. It's a paradigm shift, I think. Whereas
I'm trying to think, what do PT clinics do with t-shirts? The only consistent thing I've seen PT clinics do with t-shirts is give them upon graduation, right? Which is such a weird thing. Like, when would you graduate from relaxing? And you would never graduate from relax and recovery.
No.
Right.
Right. And this is a lifetime of, this is part of a habit. That's why we sell memberships.
Yeah.
It's a habit of taking care of yourself.
What's the rough square footage? How much did you need?
1,500. And it's honestly, now we're finding it's a little small. We could have had more, but there's ways to expand, but I don't want it to be
go small and need to go big rather than go big and then panic and then need to back down. What's success look like for you a year from now, which would be your first year, 3 years from now, because that's the mark. If your business can last 3 years, you got a chance. And then maybe 5 years from now, what's 1, 3, and 5 look like? Like, shoot for the stars, man.
Yeah, year one, we've hired at least 1 to 2 people, man in the front. I'm doing all PT.
Good.
Year 2, we've expanded. I'm still doing all PT, but I've expanded to the next door location, which is another 1,500 square foot space. Year 3, we are hopefully bringing in sensory deprivation, float, some mindset coaching, more on the mindfulness part.
And when do you have another location? Is that in the forecast?
Not right now. I just want to expand right here. I want to knock it out of the park right here.
What didn't I ask that you wish other PTs would know about what you're doing?
Something that I think is really important. As a PT, sometimes we only collaborate with people in the medical field. we are part of our communities. We are part of the business community. We are part of the local community. So no matter where we are, be ingrained in that community, because that's who supported me through this whole thing. I have flowers you can't see here from a patient of mine. I have, people coming in to say, hey, what about this? Have you thought about this, from the yoga community? Collaboration with all people who promote wellness and success in the community is vital to your success.
I love that. Last thing we do on episodes, we call it the parting shot. What's an idea, mic drop moment, soapbox statement? What would you want to leave with the audience?
You're capable of doing whatever's in your dreams, but you got to do it. So go after it. Don't wait. Fortune favors the bold. One of my favorite lines. Sam at Frostfire in Lynchburg, appreciate you coming on the show in one of our first couple of PT Blueprint, Business Blueprint episodes. Thank you so much. It was a pleasure.